3, 2, 1.
The following Pulpery podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. Welcome to the Pulpery Politicscast with Brock and Ben. This podcast is where we discuss the political headlines that intrigue us and all those little jerks that enrage us.
What sound you hear? Better start that clock.
Yeah,
because we're in boxing now. So yes,
Actually, boxing has more rules. It's not Vietnam.
well, and it's fucking childish. Like you elbow something. So we're talking about the, and I quote.
Well, we're starting with the McCarthy.
I'm trying to find out. Rep Tim Burchett is
who is a GOP rep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's GOP on GOP. It's like, never mind. I was going to go somewhere truly terrible.
No.
So when you have, and this is from ABC News, several skirmishes break out, and that is by all reports, by all news networks, and video proof.
Yeah. And radio proof.
And radio proof of, and we're talking independent TV video. It's just what you see on C-SPAN is what you get.
Yeah.
We still don't know what hearing it was for.
Oh, so now wait, let's start with
we'll start with McCarthy. I think the other one. I thought the other one. So McCarthy, after they passed the temporary spending bill,
right,
decides to elbow a fellow GOP member of Congress in the back as he's giving an interview on NPR radio.
Right, and then tries to play it off like he did nothing.
Where several members of the press were like, yeah, you did. There's like 12 of us.
Including the interviewer.
That saw you.
Hang on a minute.
No, so it's like, they're fighting. There's the senators on the... never mind.
Ooh, we'll get to that, yeah.
Right. No, we will get to Hamilton and duels, for sure. That's some fucking middle school shit.
Right.
Like, you and another 14-year-old are arguing over, like, a girl, and you're talking to, like, the girl's friend, and your rival comes down and elbows you in the kidney.
I mean, I will say this. I teach high school, and I've taught at various different schools, and most of the kids will actually square up against each other, a.k.a. like hockey.
Right.
Not, like, if you did that in a New Orleans high school, you'd be dead two days later.
Correct.
Like, you snuck up on somebody and just, like, shamed them in front of a whole...
Everybody.
Crowd of people,
all because he voted for a temporary spending bill.
Right, yeah, because God forbid we keep our government running, keep our credit rating where it is.
And again, we have several international emergencies.
Well, not even that, but like the federal government pays or air traffic controllers is a federal jurisdiction.
That's the
Right. So the FAA, yeah.
Thank you. I went FCC, but that's completely other federal go.
We are a week away from or a week and a half away from Thanksgiving. If you shut the government down, holiday travel gets fucked.
More so than it already is.
Right.
They don't care.
No, yeah. And this is the little limp dick dude that was beat up by Jim Jordan and then came out and said, "You can move for Jim Jordan."
And I'm not going to pile on the GOP, but we are beyond... Because, all right, before we even get there, the other skirmish, as we're calling it now...
Was it Mark Wayne or Wayne Mark? Was it?
Mark Wayne Mullen. Mark Wayne being one word.
Yeah.
One, like Mark, just like you spell it, and Wayne, just like you spell it, One word.
I bet he has a daughter named Jersey.
Spelled with a Y.
Jersey.
Like, not the Y at the end either. It's
What's
like
that word? Right? Yeah,
Jersey
so,
with a Y and then an I-E.
Again, to quickly unpack what we have just had to investigate, which is this man challenges...
Legit, we can be gentlemen and step outside.
No, not like right then and there.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he said this in a committee hearing.
To the head of the Teamsters Union.
And what was it for? Like, what was the whole hearing about?
Frankly, it doesn't matter to me. Like,
just straight up, like,
first off, like,
unions.
Teamsters Union. Like, this is truckers. These are, like, anyone who hauls anything. So the dude's sitting...
You mean the veins?
Yeah.
The bloodline of the country?
Yeah.
Yeah. People who haul shit around the country.
Right.
They are the bloodlines. They are the veins of this country.
The people who used to hold the mob by the reins.
Correct, because you couldn't get shit done without
and they could, yeah,
the
and the mob needed their money.
Distribution.
Yeah. So the dude at the table talking to the represent, or it's a senator.
It's a senator. This was Senate. Yeah, Bernie Williams was.
He's a senator from
I said
where?
Bernie Williams.
Yeah.
Yes, I love you, Bernie. I love you. And
then he plays
guitar.
some classical guitar.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, but the Mark Wayne is the senator from where?
Oh, well, that's what I need to find out.
But anyway,
I just had it. It's
the
Oklahoma.
Of course. The Teamsters Union president is not like
it's not
not Wayne LaPierre of the NRA.
Correct.
This dude has a neck thicker than his head.
Did you see that? So in the video,
so that's that'd be like John Cena sitting across the table and being like, "You want to go?" Or Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Let's take another. Or actually, Brock Lesnar was a successful MMA fighter.
Chael Sonnen? Sorry, he's a douche.
Oh, sorry. By the way, in case you didn't read up on it, Mark Wayne Mullen
I didn't read up on
is a former MMA fighter.
There you go.
But
challenging a Teamster who just sat there like this and went, okay.
All right, yeah.
You want to stand up? He went, just dead face, didn't move, didn't flinch. His pulse did not go up, just like your boy in the killer. He just sat there and went
60.
But you stand up.
But like, to me, knowing that now, to me, is that this is also the disrespect Republicans have for unions. There was a point where if the Teamsters president was anywhere, it commanded respect for what they did.
He held
no matter
all the cards.
No matter how corrupt they were, but just what they represent. Like you said, like they say we're not doing anything,
and the country shuts down.
Yeah. But
shuts down.
This guy's quoting a tweet back at him in a Senate hearing. And then, of course, like, former MMA fighter is shut down by who? Bernie Sanders.
Not Bernie Williams.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
Stop it!
Stop it! No, you may not.
Sit down.
No, you may not.
You're a senator.
Yeah.
We're doing bad Bernie Sanders impressions.
You are a U.S. senator.
Yeah.
And it took...
A frail white man from Vermont just controls the room.
With 3 gavels. And then told the Teamster, which would never happen before, no, you may not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, Bernie Sanders has cachet. Yeah. Mark Wayne does not.
And that's his first name.
Yeah.
Mark Wayne.
Actually, it should be Mark E. Wayne, right? Because there's a Y in there. Like he's a bad 90s white hip-hop star. Mark E. Wayne.
Maybe his parents were huge Marky Mark fans. And Damon Wayans. They grew up in the In Living Color era.
Also, he wakes up every morning. What was the Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch song?
Good vibrations.
Yeah, that's what he wakes up to every morning.
Does he weight lift like Marky Mark did?
In front of the mirror, yeah.
People, okay.
And And he pulls a Patrick Bateman, like, I'm going to be awesome today.
Okay, for those
That's our second American.
Not in the know, Mark Wahlberg, the actor, was Marky Mark.
I think everybody
in a band
that.
called
We can
The
move on
Funky
from that.
Bunch. Yeah, we can move on. I would have loved to have, okay, so I'm just going to jump to it. Can we please bring back the duel? I disagree. I challenge you. Okay, let's step out back and shoot each other in the face.
Well, I was saying it earlier. I think it should be like hockey. Like that starts like a couple of pushes, a couple of shoves, and then the refs for a minute clear the floor
and let them have their 30 seconds.
And then after they roll around for a bit, then you break it up.
I think we need to go.
That's what we need. Like, we need Bernie Sanders in a referee jersey
with a 10-point must scoring system. Yes. Unless you get caught cheating, and then you get deducted a point. So 10-point system.
I would just say this. Duels don't always work out the way that you thought because
I know.
Andrew Jackson went through like 15 and had 7 bullets in his body.
Man, he was batting 50%.
Yeah.
He lived through all of those.
Yeah.
Did he kill 15 people?
Pretty much, yeah. Like one dude shot him, and when it didn't kill him, he beat him to death with a cane.
Hey.
But that's also one of the reasons people say like he was so crazy was he had like massive lead poisoning because he had lead balls and.
Yeah, like when you see in a movie or anything, like I can't get the bullet out, he's going to die of sepsis.
Yeah.
This cocksucker was walking around with,
musket balls in his
ball marbles. The one, not the one that stay in the middle, but the big one.
Yeah.
Like the cue ball of marbles. Yeah. He had 7 of those in his body. Yeah. That motherfucker had lead poisoning. It was like eating lead paint.
Yeah.
It was him.
So
I don't know what else to do. It is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what all these other countries are saying?
No, where it's like all you have to do. It's not even all these other countries: Russia, China, and North Korea, and Iran.
I was gonna say, don't forget Iran.
Yeah, and that they're going like, we used to think you all were a threat.
Right.
Now you all can't even handle. You can't handle your normal business, and you can't handle your military anymore.
You can't pay your bills.
Yeah.
Like, you're the dysfunctional meth heads that live in the apartment that got to get evicted and are squatting.
Or it's that, it's that alcoholic friend who's like, at least I can pay my bills.
Right.
Like, no, you're not, buddy.
No, you don't.
Your water's off.
All of your bills are off. And your kids are starving to death.
Yeah.
And we don't have, like, child protective services to come and help the rest of us. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And we're not even trying anymore.
No.
Like, at all.
Well, and it makes, like, I don't want to call it squabbles, but, even when they try to, make something about, like, division in the Democratic Party, it's not on this level.
No.
I mean, granted, they're not 100% awesome right now, but it's like,
well, because they're not.
But they're not shoving each other in the hallways. They're not challenging union presidents
to
openly.
A fight?
Yeah, on the Senate floor or any floor for that
not
matter.
Giving hand jobs and showings of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, they're not quoting Hitler, which we'll get to in a little bit. But,
right.
Yeah.
I don't. Jim Jordan keeps stepping in shit too, and we'll get to him in a minute about.
Well, and we got less than 40 seconds on this one, and then on top of all that, if last week when we were recording and we were quoting some of the things that were popping up on the news screen, but if it's not obvious to them, is that the major big button issues, even states like Ohio are like, no,
correct.
We want. And again, remember. Abortion is not just... We want to take this time to thank you for supporting the Pulpery Podcast. We are available befuddled.com and change the way you think about the way you eat. From their signature goddamn sauce to their ghost pepper sauce, they have everything you need to rethink condiments. Help support an independent business by getting rid of your same old condiments and boss up with the goddamn sauces. Thank you, Jim Cornette.
Thank you.
So real quickly, first off, GOP race. This is what I find funny. In 1 week, Mike Pence and Tim Scott, two of the darlings, former darlings of the GOP, drop out. Yet Asa Hutchins is still in it.
And keep going.
No idea. Well, I mean, like...
who's that other guy who's now running as independent?
He's a little hot guy, but his stats are dropping every fucking round.
Well, that's because he's a fucking idiot.
Nikki Haley, who read the writing on the wall after last Tuesday of that, imagine this, people like control of their bodies, especially women. She pivoted
quickly.
Yeah.
I don't even think it took a full 24 hours.
She's been teasing it. She's been teasing it a bit.
She's dancing, which is why her numbers have slightly gone up between independents and the Republican.
But you can see where she's going. She's going look, there's clearly people who consider themselves Republicans, but they're not hard right.
Correct.
And that they want this right protected.
And I hate that she's the one who is leaning into that.
At least it's not the other people, right?
Yeah, seriously. How long before DeSantis drops out?
I mean, hopefully,
you think he drops out before Super Tuesday?
Who knows? I mean, he's already had to revamp his whole campaign. And
do you mean the lizard?
Well, no, not even that. Like he's had to fire half of his original campaign staff and reboot. But he got the Iowa governor's endorsement, so he's probably going to carry. No, he'll probably have a strong showing in Iowa.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not going to carry anything.
No.
I think Trump carries everything. God, I can't.
But you're right. It'll come down to the Republican Super Tuesday, who. So it's all about staying in it for that. But
right. And whoever's run against Trump, I can't believe I'm saying that. Like he's the fucking incumbent. But whoever's been running against him have always dropped out before Super Tuesday.
Sure.
By time we get to that, even though he's in felony fucking courts, plural.
But just remember, there was a young African American man who everybody counted out, who said, he's going up against Joe Biden, he was going up against Dick Gephardt, Hillary Clinton, all of them, and they were like, this guy's got no shot. And all it took was a second place Iowa showing, a second place New Hampshire showing, and then a Super Tuesday sweep, and then Barack Obama becomes president.
And then 8 years later, we have MAGA. You know what? And he is the patient zero. And I hate that I fucking say that.
Coincidence? I think not.
That a brown man is the inception point of where we're at today. And one of the greatest in my lifetime, probably the presidents in my lifetime. 70s, mid 70s, 75. Who?
Yeah, again, that's a
personal.
That's a question for another day. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, again, because we'd have to get into the banality of presidential policy and stuff like that. Right. But and also too soon to tell. I'll say that.
Yeah, you're the historian.
Well, we don't know how his overall international policy is going to play out. We're still mucking through that because we don't. Because someone else came in and fucked all that up.
That's what I was about
to say.
Anyway, historically speaking, we are in the infancy of his.
And again, we're still outside the parameters of the primary season, so somebody else could throw their hat in the ring and stuff like that.
It's crazy that we're less than 12 months away.
Yeah.
It just seems bonkers to me.
Or less than that.
That's what I said, less than 12 months away.
But, I mean, we're primary season kicks off.
March?
No, was it February? Is when New Hampshire or Iowa, New Hampshire are?
Is that when it is?
Yeah.
I have March circled because I think that's when his trial, the big one, is set to start.
Now, Super Tuesday is usually in March.
Right, but you have I'm not taking into account the time leading up to Super Tuesday.
It's still anybody's game here.
This motherfucker quoted Hitler.
Yeah, let's just jump to that, yeah.
Hitler.
Well, I mean, he's staying out of the direct, he's not doing any of the debates, even though he's the top fundraiser and shit like that.
That's par for the course. Like, he's a little spineless.
But that's what gives him this credence of thinking that he's above everything and anything. I mean, this is the same guy that said Hamas is smart. This is the same guy who worships Putin,
He just said it like in a fucking rally this past weekend.
I know, yeah. And what did he call all of his rivals in the GOP? Like,
he made up some poopy faces. Is that what he called them?
Yeah, or like that they're tainted or something like that.
Poopy faces.
Yeah,
is what he called them. He speaks on a 5th grade reading level.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pivot now to where we need to be. And the scary part of that is if you go through it all, you get to the Supreme Court, which could ultimately decide the fate of the country. Don't mean to be an alarmist, but that is fucking true. If we get to next year and there is any kind of anything, actually there doesn't need to be any kind, that what's the word I'm looking for, the objections will be out loud.
If the elections get to the courts, that's the problem.
Right.
And the sad part is that the Constitution actually has protections against that.
Does it?
Well, yeah, it says that if there's not a clear majority, then it has to go to Congress. Congress then does a round of voting to determine.
Which was the excuse they were trying to use last time.
No, what they were using last time was that the Senate has to ratify.
But I thought it was a joint
electoral
session.
college, right? But so in the Constitution, if there is not a clear majority in the electoral college,
okay,
then the vote goes to the House because that's a representative of the people.
Correct.
So what changed all that was Bush v. Gore.
We've talked about that before. I keep forgetting about
that.
Only because one of those parties was adult enough to say, okay, I get it.
But like the constitutional part about it was that because they kept challenging it in the courts and it kept going and going.
Yep.
And then, of course, what the Supreme Court ruled, which was like, well, we don't want this going on and on. The problem is that it's in the Constitution. Is that if Florida could not decide their votes,
then it would go to the House.
Right. Which is weird too to think about at that time because the House was
it
Republican controlled at that time.
Was it?
Yeah.
The Senate too?
Senate doesn't come into play.
It's got to get. So House is it doesn't need to go House Senate.
No,
it's just the House decides because they're the representatives of the people.
And then the Senate ratifies it, but that's just a moot ceremonial thing, which is what Mike Pence was doing.
Right, that's what they were.
But they actually acted like as if the Senate really decides who wins or who doesn't.
Which is what's confusing to the layperson, even me. I need you to keep me in check, which people don't understand that. They're just like, hey, Senate has control.
Well, it also comes down to this, to the arcaneness of, which again is that probably at the time in the 1790s it made sense. I
can't believe that we have.
Which is like, it would be very difficult to tally the entire popular vote of the entire United States.
Correct.
But now we do it electronically. We can get it instantaneously. So the point,
whether it's early voting or mail-in, it doesn't matter. We can still get that.
And of course, like the reason nobody will propose it, and it probably will never get passed, is that if you eliminate the Electoral College, then that takes away power from the states with less representation.
Okay.
So, but I mean, like,
so here's the thing.
Even in this case, like a state with 3 electoral votes, like Montana, if given the right situation, could dictate who becomes president.
How, though? They don't have enough population. If we went to...
Because they still have 3 electoral votes.
Okay, no, I'm talking
about... So the math comes down to it.
If you get rid of the electoral vote, which is... I am a proponent of.
Sure.
Every election until you get to the United States.
This is why... Well,
popular vote.
Then it comes down to urban centers. Like, not only the states, but the areas... So, like, for example, here in Louisiana, if you had 90% turnout in the urban centers,
facts,
they could decide what the state goes for.
Correct. Right. But then say it. We talked about it last time. What's the percentage of turnout?
Well, we had 36%. Now, granted that it's in an off year.
But
it's not in a president. You always have higher turnout during a presidential election.
I get it.
But 36 is bad. 36.
We were electing a governor.
Sure.
Governor.
As well as our state attorney general,
correct,
our lieutenant governor.
The big state election.
Yeah.
1 in 3 people voted.
Right.
I am full disclosure. I didn't vote. I forgot completely. I have family. I forgot. That's not an excuse.
Well, and that's also one of those. But there was not. How many notices did you get to come out and vote?
0.
Right.
I got 1,000 cardboard cutouts of Republicans.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the 1 or 2 Democrats. I couldn't tell you who they were.
Yeah.
I probably could have listed the half dozen or whatever.
So that it's like that's the Democrats or the Louisiana Democratic Party fixed one issue, which was instead of having 5 Democrats run in a jungle primary, they pretty much narrowed everyone down to 1.
Hoping that the Republicans would eat away at each other and you would have...
But they did not campaign for them. Like, for instance, the state treasurer, which is a huge deal in this state.
They control the money.
Right.
Which, and if you know anything about Louisiana politics dating back to the inception.
So if I said Dustin Granger, do you know who I'm talking about?
Nope, absolutely fucking not.
So that was the lone Democrat. Now he's in the runoff.
Oh, he actually got to a runoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can vote in the runoff.
And I will.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that the fact that you don't know these people, that you are a concerned citizen in your state.
Not necessarily, I mean, not just in my state.
If you weren't.
But in my fucking city and district.
If you weren't, I would have to strangle you.
We wouldn't have this podcast.
Yeah, what's the fucking point of this one? But yeah, it's like that. Like that's the point. But it's like if you don't know what's going on, and that's the whole point. It's the whole point of political parties is to inform the public of their candidates.
That's why money, campaign donations are a huge thing, and then.
But this is also why now Dustin Granger, who's running for state treasurer, is also criticizing the Louisiana Democratic Party.
As they
saying, like,
should.
Yeah, you didn't get my name, you didn't get all these other people's
names
out there. And we had 36%.
Do better.
Yeah.
And
which is, it's like, look
so that,
at what...
that is my biggest complaint with the Democratic Party.
What's her name? The following Pulpery podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. Pulpery is a privately produced podcast by Brock Ryder and Ben Grimmie, on social media and photography by Beck Ryder, original music by the Heisenberg Compensators.